your homes, relax with you around the table, sit on the edge of your bed perhaps, and we have this discussion. We always encourage you to call in, so if you're in the mood to call tonight, you don't have to wait too long. You can get your calls in early. Grab your pens, grab your pencils, grab a piece of paper, or grab your phone and take down the numbers. Because tonight we're going to be talking about how to build bridges. And we'll show you a video on that. But of course, we may very well show you one bridge. We're not going to spend too much time on bridges tonight. We want to hear from you. And yesterday I was at home in my lazy holiday self, thinking seriously about getting out of bed and going driving around Nevis to see what's happening, especially down in Newcastle at the fishing tournament sponsored by the Honorable Dr. Janice Daniel Hodge. And I got a call from somebody whose number was not registered in my phone. But I like to answer people. You never know who you're going to meet. And here was this gentleman telling me how he tunes in regularly every Tuesday night. He even knew that on the first Tuesday of the month that I don't have a show. And he was suggesting that perhaps I can come on later. He wouldn't mind staying up if the show started at 9 o'clock. 9 o'clock is time for me to go to sleep. I love relaxing in my bed. And so I said, it's something to think about. Normally I have a meeting starting at 6. And so if the meeting runs long, it would be a bit much to still be coming in late. He said, no, people will stay up. Because people like him are keenly interested in the bridge. He's not from Nevis. He told me that he is from St. Kitts. He lives abroad. And he has lived in various parts of Europe. And he said the idea of a bridge has always fascinated him. And he said he started thinking even more seriously about the bridge, having read and heard stories about the Christina disaster. No, he wasn't around. He's born in the 80s. Christina sank in 1970. But he said he has visited Nevis and he has gone down to the memorial site down by Hamilton House. He has been up at the cemetery and he has very carefully, painstakingly read all the names and taken pictures of the names. He hasn't been back in the Federation to go to the memorial in Bastia, but he promises to do so. He has had pictures sent to him. But he's very fascinated about the idea of building a bridge between Nevis and St. Kitts. And he's fascinated because of the economics. He has done his own research on bridges between Canada and the US, bridges in the US, and bridges throughout Europe. He has been telling me about bridges in Asia. He has followed the building of some incredible engineering stunts in China, where they seem to be building higher and higher, and they're digging tunnels deeper. And he has looked at all of those, and every time he sees one of those miracles, he's saying, but we have about 2 miles of water. Depending on where you build the bridge, it might stretch to about 3 miles, perhaps 3.5, between Nevis and St. Kitts. He has looked at the bridge between Hong Kong and Macau. And he has been looking at numbers. And he had me in a conversation that lasted for more than 90 minutes. Because he seemed so knowledgeable. And he said that this was sparked by him being referred to the program by somebody else who shared the link with him. And so he started thinking about a bridge between Nevis and St. Kitts. And he seemed even more excited than I am. And I am happy for that. He says he listens all the time, and he has since shared additional information. So people are out there listening, and this is what is important. Yeah, we have to get the dialogue going. And sooner or later we have to start talking about numbers. Based on the comparisons that I've done, I've been thinking maybe 300 million might be a good number. Number might sound high, but it really is not so high. Because in the grand scheme of things, we built a pier in Bastille for nearly 150 million. You're talking about a bridge between Nevis and St. Kitts that will see tremendous use. I'm thinking that within the first year of operation, you'll probably have 1 million people crossing that bridge. Easily. Some for the sheer excitement of saying that they completed the journey. Some for business. Some for pleasure. Some tourists. You are going to have all sorts. And one of these days on that very same bridge, we must have, you see how we have the cross-channel swim? We must have a bridge run so that people would be able to see who can run from St. Kitts to Nevis the fastest. And put them in age groups as well. Have categories. Just like how you have categories for normal races. I'm thinking ahead of myself, but I like to think way ahead of myself. I want us to very seriously start imagining the bridge between Nevis and St. Kitts. We're coming back. We're going to hear from the people who make the program possible. Some very good businesses who have said, listen, they're excited about the bridge and they want to be a part of it. So we'll be back right after hearing from our sponsors.
Alefco Equipment Rental and Construction Company Limited makes construction easier. Here's how. Heavy equipment rentals makes land clearing and excavation efficient and effortless. Our quarry products are readily available and are delivered on time. Ready mix concrete mixed to your specifications will make pouring quick, easy, and faultless. Masonry blocks of the best quality with heavy gauge roofing products cut to size and supplied specifically for your project. Individually or together, all of our products are designed to make construction easier for you. Alefco Equipment Rental and Construction Company Limited, Prospect Industrial Site, Nevis. Call us on 869-469-1803. Alefco, we make construction easier.
The construction jamming, oh it's amazing. The construction jamming, why don't you join in?
Need to get your goods to St. Kitts and Nevis? Look no further. TDC Shipping has you covered with reliable cargo solutions by land, air, and sea. Whether it's a package from across the world or a large shipment of goods, TDC Shipping makes it easy, affordable, and stress-free. And with our Airbox service, ordering from your favorite online stores just got even easier. Ship straight to your mailbox and let TDC Shipping handle the rest. Fast, secure, and even to your door. Visit us today at the C.A. Paul Southwell Industrial Park or Penny's Industrial Site, or call 465-2511 in St. Kitts or 469-5430 in Nevis. TDC Shipping, where reliable service meets unbeatable convenience. TDC, together we succeed.
Life's unpredictability is a constant reminder to be prepared. Let Nagico Insurances safeguard what matters most to you. Our comprehensive medical coverage includes dental, vision, and preventative care, ensuring your well-being. With a range of life insurance options, we assist in estate planning and cover significant expenses like education or home ownership. Contact Nagico now for tailored coverage that suits your needs. Nagico Insurances. Fast, fair, and always there.
I am the high performance engine inside her car. She buys me premium gas, not regular. She needs to feel my power when she turns me on. And when she She's my gas, she needs to know, can I perform? Get ready for higher performance all day long and superior gas mileage. As Delta Petroleum introduces the real premium gasoline. For your engine, wah, 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 what it need, Delta high octane 93 treat. For your engine, wah, 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 what it need, Delta high octane 93 treat. It's giving you higher gas mileage and speed, higher performance guaranteed, higher engine life for your ride, higher. If you have a high performance car, a truck, speedboat or a bus, you really need a gas that you can trust. That won't mash up your engine, rattling and singing, wasting your money. Do you hear what I'm singing? Fill me up with premium, just fill me up, just fill me up with premium, 'cause the only gas for me is Delta High Octane 93.
Are you looking for an investment opportunity to make your dreams come true? Well, stop looking, for Candy Resort Nevis has that opportunity for you. Candy Resort is a premier getaway to the serene and vibrant Libert Hill, St. James Parish. Surrounded by breathtaking landscapes, our luxurious condominiums offer a seamless blend of tropical elegance and modern comfort, your perfect escape in the heart of the Caribbean. But that's not all. Owning a property at Candy Resort Nevis qualifies you for the prestigious Citizenship by Investment program, granting you the coveted opportunity to become a citizen of St. Kitts and Nevis. Enjoy unparalleled benefits from global mobility to investment security, all while owning a slice of paradise in an area set for tremendous growth in both residential and the tourism sectors. Don't miss this investment opportunity of a lifetime. Call Caribbean Development Consultation Limited at area code 869-662-9565. That's area code 869-662-9565. Call today. Candy Resort Nevis, where luxury meets legacy.
I was reflecting just this past long weekend that between January, the end of January, and last week, I'd been to St. Kitts more times than I went to St. Kitts for the whole of 2024. Yeah, been working a lot of cricket games in St. Kitts. And we had our under-19 team participating in the Leewards under-19, well, under-17 stroke under-19 competition in St. Kitts. And we traveled on a daily basis to go to the games. So we had 5 travel days. You talk about 5 travel days with an average of 16 persons. Sometimes, well, an average of 16 persons. So you're talking about the Nevis Cricket Association having to come up with $1,000 a day to get our young men down to St. Kitts to participate in the Leewards under-17, under-19 competition. That has nothing to do with the competition fee, the fee that the Leeward Islands Board set for us to participate in the tournament, which was closer to 17,500. And then you add 5 travel days at $5,000 approximately. And you see how expensive it is for sporting teams to participate in these games. And in addition, on Sunday, there were 2 cricket teams out of St. Kitts who came to Nevis to participate in the cricket matches over at VOJN. Not just the teams, but their supporters. Sports and sporting competitions between teams in St. Kitts and Nevis, or even playing in Nevis teams playing in St. Kitts teams playing in Nevis, costs a lot of money. Costs a lot of money. And ideally, we are so closely located to one another that if we are having any kind of competition between Leewards, for example, Nevis and St. Kitts really should be playing warm-up matches at all levels, all ages. Under 15, under 17, under 19, senior team, women. You really should be playing warm-up matches, and especially when you have teams which are participating in trials for Leewards. So this is going to happen at the age group levels. So between Nevis and St. Kitts, when they had the under 15 trials in Antigua, had over 20 persons. Over 20 persons from St. Kitts and Nevis participating in the trials. The coach of the team is from St. Kitts, Jace Taylor. Wouldn't it have been nice if St. Kitts had been engaged in playing Nevis to get the fellows match ready, to get them mentally prepared, to get them sharp, but more importantly, for the coach to get to know his players? Because at these tender ages, you're going to go into tournaments and people will have failures. But if the coach knows the players, he had seen them in practice and performing against each other, he could say, listen, this player just had a bad start. I can play him because I know his quality. And I'm talking about all of this because it comes back down to the bridge. If we had the bridge in place, it would have been so much easier for players from Nevis to drive over to St. Kitts to participate in whatever matches are happening. You could have joint practices. Have a whole facility at Warner Park with more practice pitches than we have here on the top of the hill there by the Livingston Sergeant Academy. They could have come to Nevis to play practice matches. We could have gone down. And for us, Nevis participating in the Leeward Islands under 17 and the 19 competition, if you had a bridge, it wouldn't cost us $1,000 a day to get our players down to St. Kitts to participate in the tournament. $1,000 a day is not small change. The Cricket Association, our sponsors, for the most part, the competitions that they sponsor do not cover the entire tournaments. So it means that we are already starting making up. And we don't have any great sponsorship, so you make money when you have the games and you hustle with your bar and so on. So the bridge is important to us, is important to sporting organizations. It is important to the supporters, to the parents, to the fans, to the friends of sporting organizations. I mean, you have a young child playing in the cricket tournament that just took place down there in St. Kitts. And you have a very busy day, but you have appointments right up to noon. And then you can afford to take the rest of the afternoon off. I mean, if there was a bridge, you don't even stay in Nevis for lunch. You take your lunch and you jump in your vehicle and you say, let me drive to Connery where my young nephew, my young son, my cousin is playing. Let me drive and give some support. Let them hear a friendly voice. Let me drive down to Warner Park. Because the bridge is there and it is convenient and you don't have a schedule for when the bridge will be moving, the bridge will be fixed. And so you could do that at your own convenience. But listen, the sporting point is a major point because there is not a lot of money in budgets for government for sports. Even we just sent a team to Carifta. I think we managed to come back with a couple of bronze medals. But it's more than just sending a team to Carifta and looking at the medals. It's the participation. It's the friendship. It's the competition. It's showing what you can do compared to what the rest of the Caribbean is doing. And all of these meets that we had in Nevis, trying to get people to meet the standard for Carifta and so on. Why is it that we are still having to depend on boats to get our people to move between Nevis and St. Kitts? when it's only a little 2-mile stretch of water, and a bridge might only run to, depending on how you align it, 3.5 miles. Why is it that we are not thinking that this bridge in the first year of operations could see 1 million people cross it? Why is it that we're not looking at the opportunities and saying, listen, let's expand the way we administer? Why is it that we are not looking to say, but listen, if the government does not want to do it, let us raise the capital privately and get it done? Because I believe, like the late Sir K. Dwight Venner, that this is perhaps the biggest and the best business investment that we can have between Nevis and St. Kitts. A bridge. So that people can move at their own convenience. But I spent a couple of minutes talking about sporting teams. But it's not just sporting teams alone. You know that there are people in St. Kitts who decide, listen, it is time for me to get married, but I don't really want to do a traditional church wedding. I want to do it in a nice setting. And Nevis, we have a couple of those. So whole wedding parties from St. Kitts have picked up themselves and come to Nevis to witness weddings. Brides, they tell me brides are the ones who normally choose locations. The brides have decided, I want to get married at the Botanical Gardens in Nevis. So that's where I'm going. And there are other locations which are popping up. These big fetes, people have had their fetes in Nevis at the same Botanical Gardens down there at the Malcolm Gishard Park. We have that Mango Festival which seems to be getting bigger and bigger. You have Culturama. But you have churches, church events. And then we have the tourists who move on a regular basis, who come to St. Kitts on those big boats and decide, nah, I want to spend my day today in Nevis. But they have to come on a boat. What if there was a fixed bridge? How many more persons would come if there was a fixed bridge? 669-7312, 469-7953, 917-460-2187. Let me call them again. Because our phone lines are open, you can call in and you can share your views. 469-7953, 669-7312, 917-460-2187. Play something from Elimat and then we'll be back.
Got the historians hard at work. Well, I am one who want to believe that the whole situation is a big, big joke. No, I back in Palm and my sister back in labor. But that can't stop me from loving one another. No, I vote Powell and she vote really do. But to box me, sister will have to box me for sure. So when I might set out to destroy labor, which one of them will touch me, sister? Is when labor decide to shoot down Pam, you take me, sister, go shoot I man, no it's so. It is time making it needs rebuilding. We have to start uniting and stop fighting. Oh, it's joke we making. It seems to me we are carelessly destroying all the nation. At the rate we are going, we are rapidly approaching the point of inevitable self-destruction. I would like to rest me hand on that crazy louse who's stupid enough to burn down the courthouse. Such a tragical loss is affecting everybody. Yes, gone is the evidence of part of our history. Yet some people say it is their desire to see the whole of my country on fire. It's for when trouble starts, it ain't there. It doesn't if they take that fire. Got a friend, no, it's our selfishness, our lust, and our greed make we blind to what we have. We don't know what we need. We must gather our forces and pool our resources. Replace egoism with patriotism. Or it's joke we making.
I agree with Elimat. If they say they don't want a bridge between Nevis and St. Kitts, is joke they're making. I totally agree with him. We must pool our resources and get a bridge between Nevis and St. Kitts. We're talking about the year 2025. If this has been happening between different countries in other parts of the world, why not between the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis? You're always, it doesn't matter what you say, you're going to have detractors. And you will have some people who are just living for the moment. You will always find those people who are thinking, I'm living now, and when I'm gone, I don't care about who is behind me. I don't care how they manage. But if those persons who didn't see the vision for a second cruise ship here and went ahead and built it, there were persons, when they were talking about a second cruise ship here in St. Kitts, who were saying, no, it's not needed. Is it needed? Yeah. Is it working? Yes. Should they have built it? Absolutely yes. I don't agree with how they funded it, because I don't want anybody to tell me that we have a fund from CBI with billions, and you find that the best thing that you can do is watch it and spend money on other things, but not spend any of that money on building the and taking out some to build the second cruise ship here. 150 million, you could have saved the interest. Good evening, caller.
Good evening, Keanu.
How are you doing?
Not too bad. If Billy Hobart was alive, Nevis and St. Kitts would have done that appeal. If he was alive, and Nevis would have got the tourist appeal long time. But anyhow, when I get back in power, that's going to happen. See you. Good night.
You have a good night, caller. Thank you very much. Our phone lines are open. You can call us. We'll put you straight through on the ear. And you can tell us whatever is on your mind. Yeah. We're talking about the bridge, but I agree with the caller. Nevis just there. Since I'm a little boy in Charlestown Pier, I remember vaguely the old wooden pier. Vaguely. Don't know if it's me imagination or how long ago that was. But we have had the pier the same place. and we have seen the boats anchoring way out to sea. And some people like to say how long the party been in power. You in power with no imagination, not a thing change. It remains the same. So I'm inviting people to look at the bridge. And you know, those many times that I went to St. Kitts for the cricket matches, I think I was down there maybe nearly a whole month, close to a month, when you add up all the travel days. Every single time that I've traveled, whether it is from Charlestown heading into Bastia, or from Oli going into Reggae Beach, or from Long Point going into Majors Bay, I'm always out there looking and in my mind imagining where the pier would begin and where it would end. What point would it touch Nevis? What point would it touch St. Kitts? And the businesses that will spring up around those areas. And how you build it, how you build the pier. Because I don't imagine that the pier is going to be one long pier. You can reclaim land. And whatever land is reclaimed would be very expensive land. Tell me Port Zante at one point was selling for $14 a square foot and is now closer to $50 a square foot. Same thing would obtain with whatever land is reclaimed when this pier is being built. And I'm saying when it is being built, because you're going to have people with greater imagination than the present people who are in government now, who are short-sighted and who don't seem to be able to imagine the economic benefits of having a pier, fixed pier, between Nevis and St. Kitts. We have talked about it. We will continue to talk about it. And we are encouraging people to talk about it some more. So on a Tuesday night, we're going to be here talking. And we want you to be listening. And we also want you to share and encourage other people to listen. We got a short video, so before we get too caught up in other things, let us look at this short video so that you can see and experience what they're talking about.
Bridges are a vital part of our infrastructure, connecting communities and enabling the flow of goods and services. They allow us to traverse bodies of water, valleys, and other physical obstacles, and can be found in various forms all around the world. But building a bridge over deep water presents a unique set of challenges and requires careful planning and execution. In this video, we'll be exploring the various steps involved in constructing a bridge over deep water, using real-life examples to illustrate the process. The first step in building a bridge over deep water is to conduct a site analysis to determine the best location for the bridge. This involves analyzing a variety of factors such as the width of the waterway, the depth of the water, the strength of the currents, and the soil condition. The chosen location should be able to support the weight of the bridge and be able to withstand the loads that it will be subjected to. It should also be easily accessible for construction purposes and be cost-effective to build. For example, when building the Confederation Bridge in Canada, engineers had to consider the fact that the bridge would need to span the distance of 12.9 kilometers, 8 miles, across the Northumberland Strait, with water depths ranging from 45 meters, 148 feet, to 60 meters, 197 feet. They also had to take into account the strong currents and winter ice conditions in the area. The chosen location needed to be able to withstand the forces of the water and ice, as well as the weight of the bridge and the loads it would be subjected to. Once the location has been determined, the next step is to design the bridge. This involves deciding on the type of bridge to be built, determining the size and shape of the bridge's components, and calculating the loads and stresses that the bridge will need to be able to withstand. There are many different types of bridges, each with its own set of strengths and limitations. Some common types of bridges include beam bridges, arch bridges, suspension bridges, and cable-stayed bridges. The type of bridge chosen will depend on various factors, such as the span of the bridge, the terrain, the types of loads it will need to support, and the available materials and resources. For example, a beam bridge is a simple and cost-effective solution for shorter spans, while a suspension bridge is better suited for longer spans over water. An arch bridge is well suited for spans over valleys, while a cable-stayed bridge is a good option for medium to long spans. Once the type of bridge has been chosen, the next step is to determine the size and shape of the bridge's components. This involves calculating the size of the beams, girders, cables, and other structural elements that make up the bridge. The size and shape of these components will depend on the loads that the bridge will need to support, as well as the material properties and manufacturing capabilities. For example, when building the Akashi Kaikyo Bridge in Japan, engineers chose to use a suspension bridge design, which is well suited for long spans over water. The bridge has a main span of 1,991 meters, 6,352 feet, making it the longest suspension bridge in the world at the time of its construction. Once the design is complete, the next step is to prepare the construction site. This may involve dredging the water to make it deeper, building temporary support structures, or installing pilings to provide a foundation for the bridge. Depending on the location and conditions, various methods may be used to create a stable foundation for the bridge. One common method is installing pilings, which are long, sturdy poles that are driven into the ground to provide a foundation for the bridge. Pilings can be made of various materials such as concrete, steel, or timber, and are typically driven into the ground using specialized equipment. The number and spacing of the pilings will depend on the size and weight of the bridge, as well as the soil conditions. Another method that may be used is dredging, which involves removing sediment and debris from the bottom of the waterway to create a deeper channel. Dredging may be necessary if the water is too shallow to allow the bridge to be built at the desired height, or if the water is too murky to see the bottom. Dredging can be done using specialized equipment such as dredgers, which are large vessels equipped with buckets or dredge pipes that can scoop up the sediment and remove it from the waterway. In some cases, temporary support structures may also be built to provide additional stability during the construction process. These structures can take various forms, such as towers or scaffolding, and are used to support the bridge as it's being built. They may be necessary if the bridge is being built in segments, or if the bridge is being built using a cantilever construction method, which involves building the bridge out from both sides of the waterway until they meet in the middle. For example, when building the Hong Kong-Zhuhai-Macau Bridge, which spans a distance of 55 kilometers, 34 miles, across the Pearl River Delta, engineers had to dredge a shipping channel and install over 400 pilings to support the bridge. The pilings were driven into the seabed using specialized equipment, and the dredging was done using large dredgers that scooped up the sediment and removed it from the waterway. Once the construction site has been prepared, the next step is to start building the bridge. This may involve assembling prefabricated components on site, or constructing the bridge in segments that are then lifted into place by cranes. The construction method used will depend on the type of bridge being built, the materials and resources available, and the logistics of the project. For example, when building the Öresund Bridge between Denmark and Sweden, the bridge was constructed in segments that were floated out to the site and lifted into place by cranes. The segments were prefabricated in a factory and then transported to the site by barge. Once they arrived at the site, they were lifted into place by cranes and welded together to form the completed bridge. Once the bridge is complete, it will need to be tested to ensure that it is safe and able to withstand the loads that it will be subjected to. This may involve subjecting the bridge to simulated stress tests, or simply allowing vehicles to use the bridge for a period of time to see how it holds up. Finally, once the bridge has been deemed safe and ready for use, it can be officially opened to the public. And that brings us to the end of our discussion on how bridges are built over deep water.
Thought I'd show you that one tonight, how bridges are built over deep water. And again, let me say thank you to the technical team, because they know how to find these videos. And by the way, I've been receiving videos of bridges from different people who are keenly interested in what we are talking about and who are helping. And yes, once we get these, we put them in the library, because we are going to be showing people different bridges from different parts of the world on a regular basis, so that people could understand what we are talking about. You see, a lot of what was spoken about here, the common man don't have to concern himself, and common woman don't have to concern herself about those, because the engineers and the architects will handle most of that. What will be key will be the site analysis. Yes, we have the study that was done 30 years ago by the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank. It's a little outdated now. You probably need to do another one. But for us here in St. Kitts and Nevis, with very little experience of building these kinds of bridges, especially a sea bridge, some guidance will be needed. We will need some help in site analysis. We will need people to guide us and to help us to understand that this spot and Nevis would probably be option number 1. This over here might be option number 2. Because when you're choosing where the bridge will start and where it will finish, you have to look at various things like access. How do you get access to the point where the bridge begins? And it's not as simple as driving off the road and driving across the bridge. A lot more goes into it than that. If it was so easy, people would do it. And it is not as easy as going from the nearest point in Nevis to the nearest point in St. Kitts, because you have to look at infrastructure. You have to be guided by, listen, do we just build this bridge for a distance of 2 miles and get it from Nevis to St. Kitts? And then when you get to St. Kitts, you land in an undeveloped area where there are no roads and no facilities, and then it is going to cost you another 50 million to get from that area, which is the closest point, to the road network where it already exists. You've got to take all of that into consideration. Or would it be worth the while, rather than getting to the nearest point, which is 2 miles, would it be worth the while to have the bridge extend for another 1 mile to get to a point where access to the network is easier? So it's not a matter of going from the closest point to the closest point. It's a matter of you build a bridge from the closest point to the closest point, but it's not accessible. You just wasted a lot of money. So you're going to have to see how that ties into the network. Or what cost would it be to the developers of the bridge to extend the network to where it is now practical to access the existing network from the bridge? So these are some things that you have to take into consideration. The study, the site analysis will take a little bit of time, but it shouldn't be a costly venture. Because this is something, this is not like the bridge that you just saw there from Hong Kong to Macau, where you're talking about 40-something kilometers, where you can't see the other end. Here, the bridge that we are talking about, more than likely you will be able to stand up at one point on one of the islands and look across at the next point on the other island and say, okay, all right. But that does not mean that that in itself is how you will do the survey. It has to be in depth. People have to be on site. People got to be on land. They are going to know exactly what they are looking for. They are going to know how they will tie into the existing network. They will know if they have to extend the roadway to get to the network, how they are going to do it. And they're going to have to come up with costs. And then you're going to have the question, do we spend that money on land, improving the network on land on both sides? Or do we just extend the bridge for another mile perhaps? So rather than going into Nags Head, you might say, let me go into Majors Bay. You might say, okay, all right, let me just go into Reggae Beach, somewhere in that area. Rather than coming right on the headland where there is no road, let me just go around the corner a little bit and head into Reggae Beach, someplace. And then you have to look at the cost of the land acquisition to make sure you can gain access to the roadway. But these are questions which will be answered in time. because I am very well convinced that there are people out there who understand the need for this bridge and who understand exactly why the bridge ought to be built. It's 27 minutes after the hour of 9 o'clock. We are here with you until 9:40. So we have another 13 minutes. We have to make sure that our good friends who sponsor the program are recognized. So we'll be back after this.
Shopping with TDC just got much easier. Here's how. Log on to shoptdcgroup.com. Shop at your convenience at any time, from anywhere, with your smartphone, tablet, or computer. With our safe and secure payment checkout, you choose the option to pick up in-store or have your goods delivered right to your door. It's that easy. Shop tdcgroup.com, your one-stop online store.
Same quality you love, now online. Shop www.shoptdcgroup.com.
Are you looking for an investment opportunity to make your dreams come true? Well, stop looking, for Candy Resort Nevis has that opportunity for you. Candy Resort is a premier getaway to the serene and vibrant Libert Hill, St. James Parish. Surrounded by breathtaking landscapes, our luxurious condominiums offer a seamless blend of tropical elegance and modern comfort, your perfect escape in the heart of the Caribbean. But that's not all. Owning a property at Candy Resort Nevis qualifies you for the prestigious Citizenship by Investment program, granting you the coveted opportunity to become a citizen of St. Kitts and Nevis. Enjoy unparalleled benefits from global mobility to investment security, all while owning a slice of paradise in an area set for tremendous growth in both residential and the tourism sectors. Don't miss this investment opportunity of a lifetime. Call Caribbean Development Consultation Limited at area code 869-662-9565. That's area code 869-662-9565. Call today. Candy Resort Nevis, where luxury meets legacy.
Good evening, caller. Thanks for holding.
Yes, good night, Mr. Powell, and good night to listening people in the diaspora.
Thank you. Good
my
night.
Contribution tonight, I tuned in very late, but my contribution tonight is, if we're going to build a bridge between St. Kitts and Nevis, then we don't have a federation anymore. Am I right?
No, that I am not understanding you. What does building a bridge have to do with breaking up the federation?
Because but then we merge in the country we merge in the country.
The country is
It's
a merge.
right?
They are merged already with the federation. What does
Okay,
building a
next
bridge
question.
have to do with the federation and breaking up?
All right. Yes, it's just what I'm. That's my thought. We have to become one. If the giant is one, right? Anything joined together becomes one, isn't it?
No, we are one.
Let me ask a question.
We're one already, caller. It is the Federation of
Okay.
St. Kitts and Nevis. The bridge is
let me
not
ask
going to.
another
The bridge
question.
is not going to say this is what makes you one. We are already one from 1983.
All right. Let me ask another question. We're investing heavily in a new airport. Is it feasible to undergo 3 major projects now, or we should go with geothermal and the bridge and drop the airport project?
No, that's a totally different question. Geothermal is something
No,
that
no,
we've been. Yeah, and I'm trying to answer you. If you just give me a chance so that I can answer you. The government has said that they are moving forward with geothermal. We have heard that now since 2012. The present government said, put them back in office and they're going to flick the switch for geothermal. 2012.
Well, we know they don't know what to do. We know they don't know what they're doing. They be clear with them. Forget about them. They know what they're going to do.
Yeah, but listen, I want you to know, and I want all the supporters out there to know, that I am 100% in favor of geothermal. I'm 100% in favor of that. No question about that. I'm 100% in favor of building a bridge between Nevis and St. Kitts. No question about that. I have concerns about the airport development project. One, because since we have been talking about it until now, nobody has been able to explain to me where the funding is going to come from. Nobody has been able to explain to me how and when the landowners will be paid. Nobody has been able to explain to me how we plan to make back the money that we are going to spend on the airport extension, $137 million, or whatever the figure is. Once they can explain those things to me in a manner in which I can understand, I would be more than prepared to listen.
Okay, I said some time ago on a previous program that if we're going to do geothermal, it's better off we do the bridge because it's cheaper to run our cable under the bridge. We're easy to maintain, and rather than put down fiber optic cable, which cost you as much as half the bridge. I'm a builder, so I understand the science and all that, along with the fiber optic cables and so on, right? So I think that bridge have to incorporate with geothermal where we can feed St. Kitts with electricity, which will be cheaper. I don't know if these guys know what they're doing, and which, in my opinion, they don't know what they're doing. Because one, the other thing they need to be pushed for if they're going for geothermal, is have small factories where they're using chips that use large amount of electricity in Nevis, so we can use up some of those electricity, so we can have employment for the people. It's not about serving Nevis public with electricity or cheap electricity or clean energy. It is about using energy where the country can benefit to its maximum, in the full context of where local can get employed and they can build a resilient economy. And I like the Prime Minister to address it, but I think he's in deep sleep also. Thank you so much, sir, for your time.
Listen, I really enjoy your contributions. Thank you very much for your call. I hope that we'll have continued dialogue. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Listen, the caller was very much onto something. I don't know. He must have heard us when we were making the rounds between 2008 and 2012, when we were talking about the benefits of geothermal energy. And one of them would be in factories that use a lot of power, and which will be able to come to Nevis because we have geothermal power and get cheap power for their factories so that they can do manufacturing. And they not only will be benefiting from cheaper electricity, which is a significant cost to those companies, but they would be providing employment. And that is one of the things that we so sadly and miss here in Nevis, employment. I mean, when you listen to some people talk, they say people not balling. People are working. People have 2 jobs and 3 jobs. But people are working, if you're working 2 jobs, and the 2 jobs leave you with nothing when you finish paying your obligations, you're still in trouble. You need good paying jobs. And we just simply have dropped the ball when it comes to geothermal. But I can do a whole show on geothermal. We're going to do an entire show on geothermal, spend a whole night and talk about it. We're going to take you back, way back to the days when somebody like Victor J. Martin went to see the geothermal plant in French Islands close to us. We're going to take you back to 2002 when our current premier was part of a group that, did some work in the OECS and authored a study. We're going to take you all the way back up to now, to the present moment, when the government has fumbled the ball, where we have been doing nothing but talking about geothermal for the last couple of years. And we're going to take you to the present moment where Nevis has given up control of geothermal to St. Kitts. But that's for another show. tonight we're talking about the bridge, and yes, scholar, it is a brilliant idea to have the cables for geothermal, the transmission lines, have those as part of the infrastructure for the bridge. Lot easier maintenance than if you have to do submarine cables. And many years ago, when I saw some numbers for the cable between Nevis and St. Kitts, you were already approaching $40-something million. That's a lot of years ago. I don't know what those numbers are now. But that would make sense for the bridge. And if I were negotiating for the people with the bridge, you know, you would put on a little charge for incorporating the cable as part of the structure for the bridge. It's not for free. If they want to refuse the charge and go submarine cables, they would find out the cost of doing maintenance on a submarine cable, because you have to bring in special ships when you're laying those submarine cables. You don't just drop them overboard and that's it, you move on. You have to bring in special ships when you're laying those cables. It would be much easier to bring it alongside the bridge. But let me get back. That important call came when I was doing the ads. Let me do the ads, and I think we might still have time for a closing statement after that. But we're coming back after this.
I am the high performance engine inside her car. She buys me premium gas, not regular. She needs to feel my power when she turns me on. And when she mashes my gas, she needs to know, can I perform? Get ready for higher performance all day long and superior gas mileage. As Delta Petroleum introduces the real premium gasoline. For your engine, wah, 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 what it need, Delta high octane 93. For your engine, wah, 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 what it need, Delta high octane 93. It's giving you higher gas mileage and speed, higher performance guaranteed, higher engine life for your ride, higher. If you have a high performance car, a truck, speedboat or a bus, you really need a gas that you can trust. That won't mash up your engine, rattling and singing, wasting your money. Do you hear what I'm singing? Fill me up with premium, just fill me up, just fill me up with premium, 'cause the only gas for me is Delta High Octane 93.
Life's unpredictability is a constant reminder to be prepared. Let Nagico Insurances safeguard what matters most to you. Our comprehensive medical coverage includes dental, vision, and preventative care, ensuring your well-being. With a range of life insurance options, we assist in estate planning and cover significant expenses like education or home ownership. Contact Nagico now for tailored coverage that suits your needs. Nagico Insurances. Fast, fair, and always there.
Lefco Equipment Rental and Construction Company Limited makes construction easier. Here's how. Heavy equipment rentals makes land clearing and excavation efficient and effortless. Our quarry products are readily available and are delivered on time. Ready mix concrete mixed to your specifications will make pouring quick, easy, and faultless. Masonry blocks of the best quality with heavy gauge roofing products cut to size and supplied specifically for your project. Individually or together, all of our products are designed to make construction easier for you. Lefco Equipment Rental and Construction Company Limited, Prospect Industrial Site, Nevis. Call us on 869-469-1803. Lefco, we make construction easier.
The construction jamming, oh it's amazing. The construction jamming, why don't you join in and give me...
Need to get your goods to St. Kitts and Nevis? Look no further. TDC Shipping has you covered with reliable cargo solutions by land, air, and sea. Whether it's a package from across the world or a large shipment of goods, TDC Shipping makes it easy, affordable, and stress-free. And with our Airbox service, ordering from your favorite online stores just got even easier. Ship straight to your mailbox and let TDC Shipping handle the rest. Fast, secure, and even to your door. Visit us today at the C.A. Paul Southwell Industrial Park or Penny's Industrial Site, or call 465-2511 in St. Kitts or 469-5430 in Nevis. TDC Shipping, where reliable service meets unbeatable convenience. TDC, together we succeed.
Welcome back. It's 9:42. We've gone past our allotted time, so we'll continue the conversation next week. And if my good friend Danny is not coming in next week, we'll start a little earlier. I'll find out, and if not, start a little earlier so that we can have more time to have discussions with you about the bridge. Fine, it's an interesting topic, it's an important topic, and this is something that we want to talk about. So I'll see you next week. Take care of yourselves, and we'll be talking to you about the bridge next week, Tuesday.
2020 Vision Radio, your number one radio station.